For years, he was an informant spilling the secrets of the Chicago mob to the FBI. The story of Red Wemette.
I was told by some people at the time that he put out $1 million contract on my head.
And I hope you had a good 4th of July. Today is the 5th of July. And I thought it'd be appropriate that we talk about something that probably touched my heart. And we have Adam here. Adam, would you like to join us? There we go.
Red.
Hey, buddy.
How you doing today?
I'm doing good. We just finished your show and we're back here on mine.
Excellent. So today we're going to talk about
Whoa. I want this comment up there.
Go ahead. Marines are sissies. Everyone knows Coast Guard was the toughest. Kidding. My dad's ghost might pop up and kick my brat for that one.
Yes.
It just might. Sean Nolte, at least he has a sense of humor. That's good. So, Julie M., Ed Dunst, Kissy Cat, Christopher Urich, everybody's in here. Timothy Foster, Tony Johnson, you guys all came over. Jim Yeager. All right, fantastic. So, yesterday started to watch that Born on the 4th of July.
Ron Kovic.
Ron Kovic, yep. And you said you're pretty familiar with that story.
Very familiar with it. He bought into the same thing that I bought into. In the very beginning of the movie, shows how he was all against communism and he was going to go over and fight. He believed in mom's apple pie, the whole story. I believed in the same thing. The only thing is, like, he was a year older than I was. I was 17 when I went in, and I didn't go to Vietnam till I was 18. But he bought in, like, right after high school at 18 years of age, he joined. And he went through the same remorse as he got injured and everything else through the movie. But I believed in the same things that he believed in, and my mind was turned around later on.
So when did you go in?
One of the things I did, it was 1965, I went in. One of the big things when I got out was I believed in it so much. I was against the war. I believed in it so much that I joined a young Republican Party, which in Chicago was unheard of. But we got the voting age. If you were old enough to be drafted, you were old enough to vote, 18. We got it reduced from 21 to 18. And Jimmy Carter signed it in office. And that ended the draft, really.
Wow. Huh.
Now, in the movie, Kovac was shot and he has a Purple Heart, was injured, paralyzed from the waist down. I didn't have those problems. But his mentality is what I agree with. I agree with his mentality. Great movie. Excellent movie.
So what unit were you in?
I was in 19.
1st Battalion,
Yep,
9th Marines, The Walking Dead.
That's our symbol.
Why did they give you the name The Walking Dead, that battalion?
There wasn't many left. There wasn't many of us that survived. It was really, we had the most casualties of any unit that was over in Vietnam, period. There's a picture with the old M14s, yeah.
Yeah, that's the Walking Dead. That's their battalion. It's a picture I found online.
At the very time, I thought that they gave us the name The Walking Dead because of all the people we killed. And when I found out how big the casualty ratio was, then I said, no, I believed it then. Then I turned around and saw why they named us that.
Jesus. Because you guys were Walking Dead.
You can't smoke or drink at 18, but war is fine. Well, you could smoke, drink, or anything during the Vietnam days. They were passing out Budweiser beer like it was going out of style.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You're overseas. It didn't matter.
Okinawa.
Laws.
That's where my uncle was, endangered species. My dad went in at 17, 1965, stationed in Okinawa because of an injury during basic training.
Yes.
Red, did you?
Endangered species. He was stationed in Okinawa.
Yeah.
Was he stationed
Red,
at Camp Over, Okinawa?
don't know. Red, did
Okay.
you?
Red.
Did your anxiety? Red, did your anxiety that you talked about come from your Vietnam experience?
No, I was asked that many times by psychiatrists, and it did not. They asked me if I had any kind of reactions or anything like that happened. No, it was a chemical, biological thing that happened to me at about 24 years of age.
When did you get home from the war?
I got home in 1968.
I'm sorry, they didn't call it a war, right? They called it a conflict. The
That's
Vietnam
what they said.
conflict.
I
They
got
didn't
home
wanna
in
say it.
1968.
1968?
Right.
How old were you?
At that time, 68, 21.
Okay.
I was 21 when I got home.
Wow.
Hell of a way to grow up.
Yeah, I hear that
But yeah.
I hear that when you guys, the Vietnam, the guys came back, they weren't it wasn't like the Korean War or World War II when the soldiers came home and they were throwing flowers at them and popping champagne, and it wasn't like that for you.
For me, it was because when I came home in 68, the war wasn't that unpopular then. Any place I went in uniform, my drinks were paid for. If I went to a neighborhood tavern or VFW post or anything like that, I never paid for a drink. I never paid for anything, meals, whatever. I mean, somebody always wanted to do something for us. Later on in 1970, in that sort of era, people got spat on. They met them at the airport and would spit on them and say baby killers, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
after Jane Fonda got involved with the Hanoi Hilton and stopped the bombing and everything else.
Got it. Okay. Brian Glade, Adam, one of my teachers at Moraine Valley Community College was a Vietnam vet. He lived across the street from me in Orland Park. We called him John Shellshock. Unbelievable what he went through. Wow.
I never had shell shock. I was too young to get it, I guess. Too impressionable.
We had a teacher in high school at TF North that, God, I can't remember his name. I never had him as a teacher. I never was in his class, and that's why I don't remember his name. I can remember what he looked like, and I remember the kids in high school saying that certain things had happened in the classroom sometimes, and this dude would just like go diving across the room underneath of a desk, like just crazy stuff that he would randomly do sometimes because of his, his they called it shell shock back then. They didn't know it was PTSD. They didn't call it that yet. So, but it was trauma. So people treated Vietnam veterans like crap. So it's what I always heard was that it was,
That was later. That was much later. It was in the 70s. Dave's making a comment here. 1968 would have made you 19. You're wrong, Dave.
No? Okay. I think Red would know, but Outfit Boss. Red, what's your opinion? Yeah, what's your opinion on Jane Fonda going to Vietnam?
I didn't like it at all when she said stop the bombing and, you're killing innocent people. I was very upset over it. If we hadn't stopped the bombing, we'd have won that war or that conflict if we hadn't stopped the bombing. But she put her political nose into it. I didn't like her at all. Didn't like her opinions. Didn't like anybody in Hollywood getting involved in it. Period.
Yeah, that was a big. So, what was that, Red?
They weren't over there fighting. We were.
Of course. Do you remember all of the VFWs and all the American Legions got those the Jane Fonda urinal pucks? You remember that?
Yes.
I remember asking my dad as a kid. I was like, "What's the girl on the urinal puck for?" And I'm like, "What's that all about?" And that was when I first learned. I was just a kid. No, I was just a kid, and we were in a VFW or something. And I was like, "What's this all about?" And that's when it was like, "Oh, she went over there and took pictures and spoke out against it." And yeah, didn't she just like, I don't know what the whole thing, but it's crazy. So all the veterans are heroes. They were just following orders. I agree with you, Tim. That's how I look at it. They're told to go do things for,
That's all we did. That's all we did. Believe me.
Yeah. I was 2 years too young to get drafted, but I saw a lot of older friends who came back with serious heroin habits and many other problems. Yeah, I heard that was a big problem.
Yes.
They were smuggling the heroin back in the coffins of the bodies at that.
That was later.
What was his name?
That was later.
That was later. That was in the 70s. There's a guy from Harlem, American Gangster, Denzel Washington.
Right. I'm trying to think of his name. I can't.
Lucas.
Yes. Yes.
What's the other part of the name? Frank Lucas. Frank Lucas.
Frank Lucas.
Right? Frank Lucas. Yeah. That to me is just, man, like, if karma exists, that's
un-American.
bad.
Very un-American.
Oh, yeah. Man. So Keith Helton in 68, I was 7 years old and playing with G.I. Joes while you guys were doing the real thing. Thank you for your service. God bless America. Yeah.
Thank you, Keith.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Ultra Cowboy. USA is heading for another military draft in 2 to 5 years. Where I haven't heard that.
I'd like to
Think
see
we
that
are?
draft go through because I'd like to see us ready just in case we have to go.
Think so, yeah.
I would like to see us all prepared.
Man. Mr. Tony Dog, two dogs. We need to what?
If we need men on the ground, they should be ready and trained.
Yeah.
Not like World War II where everybody signed up just because they bombed Pearl Harbor. We need trained people ready. That doesn't mean they have to be in, but they can go through boot camp or go through the basic training of another branch and be ready. They could be in the reserves. They could be in a lot of things. But I believe in that. And I also believe it cut out a lot of crime and juvenile delinquency and other things. It did during those days.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Yeah, Frank Lucas, that's right. Scott H. She sat on a Viet Cong anti-aircraft gun. Yes, I remember seeing that photo. As a matter of fact, I'm going to look for that.
It was almost like she was for North Vietnam. Ho Chi Minh.
Yeah. Hanoi Jane.
And Tim, you're right. Training is crucial for success.
Well, yeah, I think so. Speaking of training, somebody, Jim Magnifici, I think, sent me an article, and the article was about. Hold on. The article was about the tanker, the oil tanker, off the coast in the West Coast here, somewhere off California, And they didn't say how many SEALs or how many SEAL teams, but they had a word that it was filled with children and hundreds of children. And these SEAL team took out 9 goons with by slitting their throats and garroting them, and rescued all these kids from slave trade, including some kids that were American that were just kidnapped. Red, did any of your friends make it back and did any of your friends make it back, and are they still friends today?
Not friends. Nobody made it back from my unit that I knew. But one guy that did make it back that was from Illinois that I know about was Al White. He did a thing on he wasn't from my unit, but he did a thing on YouTube. Look him up and watch it, because that is fact. Everything Al did was fact.
Really?
Yeah.
So Scott H, the CIA was involved in the heroin scheme. Do you know about that?
They've always got their fingers in everything.
All right, Sonny wants to know, was your boot camp experience like the movie Full Metal Jacket?
100%. 100%.
Really?
And I didn't eat no jelly donuts, I'll tell you that much. I was only 150 pounds and 6'1". I was a beanpole. As a matter of fact, there's a picture of me in my book and getting a uniform. And you can see how skinny I was. And I looked like I was 15.
Yeah, Private Pyle, the guy who played him, Ophirio, what's his last name? It's O something. He gained all extra weight for that role, and
he played
Kubrick.
He played it well.
Did that, right? Didn't Stanley Kubrick do
Yes.
that? Okay.
Yes.
He wanted him to gain weight and put on some extra.
I also liked Private Joker.
Oh yeah, of course. He was the main star in that. Was that movie kind of centered around him and his experience.
Was it Matthew Modine?
Matthew Modine. Yeah, that's who it was. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, he was great in that. They all were. They all did this outstanding job. So
when I watched that movie with younger people, they used to say, "Oh, it can't be that bad. It can't be that bad." And I said, it was worse. Believe me, it was worse.
Wow. Worse than that.
They can't do that to you. They can't hit you. They can't do this. They can't do that. Try them.
Recruiting is down due to woke recruiting campaigns.
I don't doubt that.
Come to the Marines, be a badass, da, 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 right? That was kind of commercials that I saw when I was a kid, It was like, you're going to freaking slide on ropes out of helicopters and all, I haven't seen any of the recent campaigns, Scott H. So I couldn't tell you.
They aren't out there like they used to be. No. There's a guy that has stolen valor, and I watch him occasionally. And when I watched it, I almost had a stroke, because we lived in squad bays and things like that. Now Marines have one man or two men to a bedroom, and they share a bathroom with the people next door. We didn't have anything like that. We lived in Quonset huts when we were in barracks and in boot camp. We lived in Quonset huts. The nearest head or washroom facilities it was down the road. We call it the road, but it was about maybe 100 yards away. If you needed to take a leak, that's where you had to go.
Wow. Roy Munson.
Night? No, you were not allowed out of the barracks.
Roy said, "Hey, guys, my son's birthday today. He's 8.
Hey, guys, my son's birthday.
He's 8. He loves nothing better than listening to Red tell stories about vice and murder."
At 8 years old already. Thank you, Roy.
Only joking. His name is Liam. Happy birthday, Liam.
Happy birthday, Liam.
Ultra Cowboy.
God bless you all.
SEALs don't take hostages. They go in to kill.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Unless they're on a rescue mission. If they're on a rescue mission, they'll make sure they bring them out alive. but they don't take hostages.
No. My grandfather blew up one of the bridges on the Ho Chi Minh Trail. When he found out they built it back, he said, "How dare you build something back that's blown up?"
That's happened a lot there. That did happen a lot.
Huh.
I won't even. We have a couple people that used to go to Vietnam, or they're in Vietnam, like that one Vietnam teacher that used to watch the show, and I just really can't even fathom the idea of any American going to Vietnam now.
Okay,
I
Bruce
hate
City
the country.
2. So I guess this is what the campaigns look like. Some Army major who was a man became a woman in photo, sits at desk with a sign, "My pronoun is she, her. What is yours?"
I haven't
Okay.
seen that, but Bruce, that's got to be bad.
I just, I mean, is that really going to attract? I don't know. You know what I mean? Is that, how the hell do you attract somebody to the military? You got to make it look cool and fun and shit. You know what I mean? How get them excited? I'm just saying, like, commercials always, well, that I saw anyways when I was younger, that's what they looked like. It was like hype, man. You want to be, be the best that you can be of yourself, and and then standing there with the Marine with the sword and all that.
No,
And
that's
it was,
the Army. Be the best you could be. The
oh,
Army
be all you
slogan
can
is
be
"Be
was
the
the
best."
Army. Be all you can be
Right.
was the Army. Be all you can be. Right. What was the Marines one? What was their slogan?
The proud, and the brave.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Dino
George
Frio.
Wilson has it here.
Thank you, Scott H. Vincent D'Onofrio. Yeah, he's a good actor. He's a really good actor. Yeah, so our military's in trouble. Regular people are not signing up for the left-wing agenda. They need to change the color of the uniforms to pink. Why are they going to hide in the damn forest with pink on, Don? They got to have camouflage.
It sounds like Robin Williams from Good Morning Vietnam.
Man, it's crazy. From his it takes a lot of guts to talk about these days too. People are saying in the comments. So thank you again, Red. The Marines are the best in the service, the toughest and the most brave. Well, they're first ones in, last ones out, right?
That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
No, not the last ones. The Army comes in and supports us, or did support us.
Right.
What's the difference between a Marine? It's changed now. The Marines were the toughest unit, or toughest branch of the service, and the Green Berets, they got all the publicity.
Right.
They were at Fort Bragg, and I was at that time. When I got home, I was at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, which is right up the road, so to speak. And 82nd Airborne was up there in the Green Berets. But I don't know what they're like today. I mean, back then, they just caught a lot of publicity. That's all.
Ultra Cowboy, my 13-year-old, since he was 8, said he wants to be Special Forces. Goes to the pool and runs all the time. Yeah, that's it's awesome. That's awesome. And you know what? If he wants it bad enough, he'll get it. When I was in 8th grade, I decided I was going to be a pilot. That was my dream. So I was going to become a pilot. And then my father said to me, he said, "You got to write a letter to the senator at the time, because each senator gets to appoint 2 people from their state to go to the Denver Air Force Academy." One of the kids down the street from me got an appointment for it. So I wrote the senator, and the senator said, "Keep your GPA above whatever it was that he wanted me to be at." He said, "Keep your GPA up there." So I did the first 2 years of high school. I did and then I found out my sophomore year that I was 6'5". And I'm like, the tallest that the fighter pilots, they aren't that tall. I think 6 foot maybe for those cockpits. But anyway, that I figured, and I was like getting into magic too. And so I kind of had to change of heart, but that's what I really wanted to do. Anyway. I guess you can watch the
I'm
movie.
looking at the comments here, and I really don't like your comment here, buddy. Marines ate crayons. Green Berets eat snakes. Maybe it's that way today. It wasn't that way years ago. Believe me.
Marines ate crayons. Sean Nolte. What does he mean by that? Crayons? You couldn't live on crayons. Snakes you could live on.
No, he's talking about a metaphor. He's talking about being tough.
All right. Have you ever eaten snake? I've eaten snake. Rattlesnake?
Yes, I did it in the U.S. Over there, they had snake. You have to make sure you cut back far enough from the head so that you don't get any venom.
Huh?
You make sure you go back 1.5 to 2 inches. And then you peel the snake and clean it out, gut it and everything, and put it on a stick and kind of roast it over the fire. And it tastes like rabbit, really. It tastes like rabbit. But I've eaten a lot of different things.
All right, Robert. Red, did you like the comparison that Sonny Corleone said about the difference, the mob versus being in the army? In the mob, you kill someone you knew. In the army, you're told to kill strangers. Do you like that comparison, Red?
No, I don't at all. That might have been the way it was in World War II. I doubt it. I really doubt it because the Marines were tough. And Sonny Corleone was talking to Michael Corleone, and he said, "Oh, it's different. Here, you shoot the enemy from far away. Here, you got to shoot him right in the head. You got to get up close to him." Well, Marines were the garrote that you were talking about that the SEALs used. We garroted people. As a matter of fact, I told you about the garrote before you ever knew about it.
I asked you what a garrote was when I was researching John Wayne Gacy. I said, "What the hell's a garrote?" And then you explained it. But you don't like that comparison?
I learned?
You don't like that
Not
comparison? Really? I thought it's
Not
kind
at
of
all. Really, honestly, there was some hand-to-hand combat. You did have to use your K-bar to slice somebody's throat. There were a lot of things that happened over there.
But in the mob, you kill somebody that you know, like your friend. In the army, you got to kill somebody you don't know.
That part I agree with.
Okay.
We're in the Marines, Army, Marines, whatever.
Okay. My grandson.
City. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. My granddad was in Patton's 8th. He went ahead of the tanks to clean out pockets and scout. 1939 to 1969. He thought he threw a fit when I was going to join and said, "I killed enough for 6 families." Tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I had
kind of right on how much you kill, your kill ratio.
I had a friend who he was World War II. He drove the boats into the beaches in Normandy, the small boats in, and when he was 75th birthday party, which I was probably 20, so it had to be 25 years ago. He'd be 100 years old if he was alive today. Because he was like 8, he joined early so that his mom signed some papers, so he could go in at 17 and serve. And he sat down, all the kids in the neighborhood, and he sat there and he started to talk about his experience there. And to watch a 75-year-old man turn into total tears and start crying in front of all the kids. Now, he had a little to drink that day too. It was his birthday, but he sat there and he started to tell us the experience. He couldn't. He tried to talk about it and he couldn't. And then after crying, he said, "Whatever you can do to avoid war, do it. You don't want anything to do with it. You got to avoid it at all costs." It was crazy, man. I'll never forget that. I was like really, anyway, now it's Sean Nolte. It's a joke. They say Marines are tough and they can subsist on crayons. As were the Green Berets eat snakes. Oh, saying that they're tough. Yeah, you could survive on wax.
I don't know. I had a gunnery sergeant that used to eat glass. He used to take a mug and just, when he served the beer, he used to take a mug and bite a piece of glass out of it and toss it to the bartender. Give me a new beer with a mug.
And he'd chew up the glass and
He was
swallow it.
tough.
Yeah, I worked with a guy.
I don't know if he swallowed it or not. I never saw it out of his mouth.
Oh no, I worked with a guy who
But he
did
was tough.
sideshow stuff, and he ate glass, man. He'd take a light bulb and then sit there and crunch and eat, drink water down it. Yeah, apparently you can do it. You just have to.
I saw him take a bite out of a beer mug. The first time I saw him take a bite out of a beer mug, I was like, ugh.
I bet you. John Olay, all the branches of the service are tough and brave. Oh, without a doubt, they all are. Yeah, they all are. So, which is the toughest?
I agree, John.
I mean, you have your toughest at every one of them, and every one of them. So, okay, Bruce City. Green Berets are Tier 1 and Tier 2 infantry troops. Most Marines infantry units are rated below that. Green Berets and SEALs or Force Recon are meant to avoid fighting, usually too few in numbers. Okay. George Wilson, the next president should be an enlisted person or a graduate of Colorado Springs or West Point or Annapolis.
Annapolis. I don't agree.
Yeah.
I don't agree.
No?
I didn't like the fact that Trump wasn't a veteran, but he takes after the veterans, and I like that. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you very much.
Red, thank you for your service. My father served 72 to 75. He participated in Operation Frequent Wind and the evacuation of Saigon. He was Navy and went on the buddy system. His friend didn't last.
I was on the buddy system. My friend didn't last either. But Navy guys saved our asses a lot of times. Boat patrols, whatever, they were great. Oh, yeah.
My great uncle was at Normandy. He was a motor sergeant. He didn't talk much about it until he was on his last days. That's what happened with this guy. It was like he was getting to a point where he was like, it's time to talk about it. And he explained the water was all red. He said he had to turn around, go back to the ship, the carrier, to pick the guys up. And he yelled, "Come on, guys, come on. We're doing great. Come on," knowing that he was taking them all there to their deaths. I mean, how just crazy, man. So, Mad Attack, my grandpa never talked about anything. Not even to my dad. He didn't want to talk about it. Matt, he couldn't probably. It probably couldn't. Like I said, JT tried to talk to us and he couldn't do it. He tried to do it. And, he used to make jokes. So he had a limp.
Flashbacks thinking about it. It's not a good thing to do. It's not a good thing to do for me.
It's called re-traumatizing. You're just re-traumatizing yourself by talking about it. So, yeah. Bruce City, what do you mean avoid fighting when you're doing recon 50 miles behind enemy lines like Force Recon and SEALs? You want to avoid being spotted and avoid getting into a firefight.
On a recon team, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
All you're there is to gather information.
Sure. I can only imagine what the Ukraine and Russian soldiers are going through now. That's terrible. It's terrible. It really is. So, Bro Bear, I know you rarely discuss this subject, Red. Thank you for your service. Thank you for opening up to us like this. Ask Red maybe off air. I don't know, Don. Ask Red maybe off air what the Viet Cong used to do to the soldiers to shake up the units coming up behind them. Yeah, I don't think we want to talk about that, Don.
No.
I know exactly what they did. I watched movies, and that's fucked. That's fucked. It's so Rick Charlton Patton got in trouble for slapping a guy with shell shock. My granddad was standing there and knew the kid. You can say that my granddad had a love of hate for Patton. He liked McCarthy. That's
MacArthur.
yeah.
MacArthur was more popular.
Yeah. Watch the colorized version of the Iwo Jima footage. What parts were you in Vietnam?
On the coast, I don't know where we landed exactly on the coast, but we went in by helicopter to the coast, and I eventually, if I pronounce this correctly, went to Cantiem, which is a province, but there's small little villages in there too. So it's up in the north by the DMZ. It wasn't nice. There was pampa grass, there was ash, there was all different kinds of terrain. Wasn't nice at all. There was snakes. Everything you could name was there. If it was indigenous to that country, it could kill you.
Matt Attack's wondering, did you ever come across any of the VC booby traps?
I saw them. I did not get into them. I did not get into them. I saw them. I saw people with their ankles. I saw people with their ankles pierced, and I saw only one, with snakes down in there. They usually had a specialist come and take them away.
Snakes.
Kill them or whatever. Yeah, snakes, bamboo snakes, cobras, whatever.
War is terrible. I mean, it's terrible.
He's talking about the punji traps here, Keith.
Yeah,
they were real.
Yeah, that was World War II. I can see you guys are a little off subject in the side comments here. Okay, I've been to Iwo Jima. There is no surprise attack. There is no surprise attack there. Pretty remarkable what the U.S. Marine Corps accomplished there.
Yes. That was during World War II. That was where Kurt was. Remember Diane talking about it? Kurt Hansen?
Yeah.
He did he was in the Battle of Iwo Jima, twice decorated with Silver Star. But she said, wow. I don't know. It was bad. He saw a lot of bad things. He came back with a sense of
Red.
Tony Johnson has this right.
Contium?
Yes.
Was that the place that you were at? Contium.
Yes. We were at the Battle of Contium.
Red, I've watched the Al White interview on YouTube. I recommend it to everyone. I haven't seen that.
Al's a great guy. He's still alive. Al's still alive.
Okay, here's a good question. Spirit of the Justice. How are the MREs, Red?
We didn't have MREs. We had C rations, and they were garbage. And a lot of times we ran out of those, and we would have to cook rice in our helmets. Rice that was grown there, brown rice.
Yeah.
Not like the bleach rice that you got.
Hey, run out of them. Didn't you say that you guys used to take the box and put it upside down, and then so you couldn't see which one was what, and you would end up because nobody wanted. Which one was it? Nobody wanted.
Nobody wanted ham and motherfuckers. Lima beans.
Ham and beans. I'll call it ham and motherfuckers, huh?
That's what we did. Nobody wanted it. Not even the officers wanted that.
God. I don't care. See, Ultra Cowboy, honestly, this might sound harsh, but I don't care about Ukraine. Not my war or my children's. I hate to see. I just hate to see. I hate to see.
I I hate to see any country torn about by war. And I hate to see any country invaded. And they were invaded. But it's not our war. It's their war. They're going to have to fight it.
Did you
think they come over and help us? Huh.
Did you? Well, yeah. I mean, Robert, did you get any pass to the cities to enjoy the locals? Remember?
No.
No, that never happened to you, where you get your camera stolen.
No. No.
Okay. The only what?
I forgot what I was going to say. It's counting on the comment here.
Oh,
Jimmy
yeah,
Calandra is on here from the Bathhouse Story.
Hey, what's going on, Jimmy? Hey, Red, what's up? How are you? Nice.
Pretty good, buddy. Waiting to do a show with you. I sent you an email.
Red was just on Jimmy's show the other day. They did an episode. Keith Helton, so glad you survived, Red, and thanks for sharing your experiences, sir. Love your book. Yeah.
Thank you, Keith. Thank you very much.
Ultra Cowboy. Red's nickname in Vegas was "Love You Long Time."
He says Vietnam. Love you long time. No.
Me so horny. Me love you long time. You don't remember that from Full Metal Jacket?
My name in Vietnam was Whippy Whippet. Whippy Whippet.
Okay.
My name was William Wemette, and they said Whippy Whippet. And that means you're going to whip it on, boy. You're going to get that. You're going to take care of it. Yeah, I'm going to do it. And I would.
Wow. Kennedy said that about Nam. It's theirs war, not ours. Look how that turned out.
Yes.
Ferraro. Exactly. That's exactly. Look how that turned out. Dr. Shu. I don't think I've ever said that name, Dr. Shu. Hit the like button, guys, if you're just coming in here. I was Navy in the 80s and served with several Vietnam vet Marines who transferred to Navy to finish out their 20 years. What, lifers? Lifers do their old 20.
He says somebody transferred, several people transferred to the Navy from the Marine Corps, and they did. They transferred back and forth both ways, all through history. Actually, our paychecks used to say Department of the Navy on the top, and the sailors used to tease us about it all the time.
All right. Bruce City 2. Mr. Tony, I know Slava Ukraine means glory to Ukraine, and it was and remains a Ukraine Nazi war cry. Western Ukraine sided with Hitler and Nazi Germany. They currently put up statues of World War II Nazis. I don't know where that even came from.
I've not heard of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Mr. Tony Two Dogs. I see he posted that up. Okay. Yeah, there's that goes back to World War II. They're splitting everything and which side went what, and it's a mess over there. Matt Attacks, I thank all veterans for their service. Yesterday's holiday was established in 1776, but that country and our freedom has been kept by our veterans. Yes, it has. All great guys. Yeah, okay. Dr. Shu, my FMF instructor at Camp Johnson, was a Vietnam recon corpsman.
Yes, and corpsman, God bless him, because the corpsman really helped us out more than anything. I valued our corpsmen more than anything. They saved lives.
Man, Rick Charlton, Granddad said he saw the worst cases of gonorrhea ever in 1965 in Nam. These guys were getting a lot of that.
Yeah, I didn't get any, but I knew a lot of guys that did. And it was a strain that we didn't have in the United States. So Corman helped us out. Shot of penicillin. That was it.
Yeah. Yeah. Vietnam didn't solve anything. The only thing it did was create casualties.
Yeah.
Mad
A lot
attack.
of them.
Ukraine is actually a really corrupt country, and they're trying to flip their image because they were invaded. And our corpse president is protecting interests. Yeah. It's awful what's going on over there. That's all I could say. It's just, I don't like to see war of any kind. So, hit the like button, guys. Make sure you're smashing the like button. You're coming in here.
Yeah,
hit the like button.
I need all the help I can get, guys.
Red needs all the help he can get. And if you haven't bought Red's book yet, be sure to pick up his book. It's Nobody Cares and What I Did About It. Red was a FBI mole, infiltrated the Chicago outfit. Most of you know that, but if you're just new here, now you know. Smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't. So,
Comp says, I remember you saying that you got rid of your M16 and grabbed a shotgun. And yes, I did. I was used to the M14. I loved the M14. When we got our M16s, they were AR-15s, Armalite. They were made by Mattel. Eddie Mattels, we call them. They came in a box. We had to assemble them. I chucked that one and grabbed an 870 shotgun right away.
really?
Oh, yeah.
Huh. I thought they'd
And
tell
Tony
you what you had to have.
Right. Plato said, only the dead have seen the end of war. And he was right. Plato was a very smart man.
Only the dead saw the end of war. Oh. So Dr. Shoes, they said the GIs would visit the cat houses in the day and the VC at night. So they kept trading
Yes.
VD.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Did you go through any little villages?
Where I was, we went through villages that after we burned them. I mean, if you're on point, maybe you might get through it. But I didn't see anything along our way. I didn't see any South Vietnamese. We saw North Vietnamese regulars, but they didn't last too long. We got artillery. We got beat up with the artillery.
Great Britain refers to their veterans as Chelsea pensioners. What's that? Chelsea pensioners.
Chelsea is it's an area in Great Britain.
Okay. Okay, JW. I just saw an army recruiting commercial with all broads. The Russians and Chinese must be laughing. I fucking
But
no.
they are.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Not to be a
I don't know.
chauvinist guy, I love women, but I got to tell you something. I would not want my life dependent on a woman that was smaller, didn't go through the PFT that I did, and couldn't pick me up and carry me 50 yards. Fireman's carry.
Yeah.
She couldn't carry me or drag me out of a situation. Could I carry her? Yeah, no problem. Could she carry me? I don't know.
My only opinion on Vietnam War was mostly about all the drugs coming over to America. Yeah. Luminous Grim, people got rich on the Vietnam conflict, just like the billions and billions going to Ukraine. Yeah.
Lady Bird Johnson she owned the contract for all the tungsten that was exported out of Vietnam. Tungsten is a metal.
Yeah.
And it's used in different things. But she had the only contract.
Who is this that had the only contract?
Lady Bird Johnson. LBJ's wife.
Gotcha. Wow. Man,
No wonder
see, follow the money.
That war going.
Follow the money. Any movie update on your book, Red?
None whatsoever.
Can you remind us about meeting Elvis from when you returned from
Everybody and their brothers making a movie.
Can you remind us
that
about
was
your meeting?
that was down in NAS Memphis. That was down in NAS Memphis, Naval Air Station Memphis, and I was I didn't have enough hours for a pass to go to New York or go someplace else. So Alan, my buddy Alan at the time, Alan's dead now, but Alan and I were walking in the winter. It was in between. It was Christmas week, and we were walking down an old road in the country and looking for a place called Whitehaven, and we found it, and we could see lights in the distance. On it was in the county, Shelby County. We could see lights in the distance, and we walked up, and we saw the gates of Graceland, and a man came out, and he was shorter. He was a little bit stockier than we were, and he was intoxicated. And he came up and put his arm around my shoulder and around Alan's shoulder. He was between us. And he says, "What are you good old boys doing out here this time of night?" And I said, "Well, we wanted to go see." And we didn't realize it was Elvis until we got invaded by bodyguards. And that's how I met Elvis.
Wow. So Duchess is upset right now. Obviously.
Yeah. Lay down.
Yes, some of the best snipers in the world were women. Interesting. I got to look that up. I've never heard that before. So, not saying a girl can't shoot a gun. I mean, it's just you just need that little finger right there. That's all you need. You know what I mean? You could be 80 years old. You got that little finger going. It's all you need.
But you're talking about the best. He's talking about the best. I never heard that. I never did.
Huh. Yeah. Tim,
Even
like
shooters with 45s. I've never heard of a woman being the best.
what?
Even match shooters with a 45 match shooters,
Yeah.
45 caliber. I've never heard
Yeah.
of a woman being the best.
Why is that?
I just never heard of a woman being the best. The winner's always been a man.
Okay. Let's look up best snipers ever. Simo Haya, 505 kills. Foyodo Okaba, Francis, that could be a guy or a girl. Carlos Ludmil Plavicino. And these are the most kills. Top 10 deadliest snipers in history. They have pictures of them? Let's see. Repeatedly proven that from the worst World War, more effective snipers, more effective and deadly. Selection criteria. I guess there's some girls. Yeah, there's some girls that were snipers. But you know
Not
what?
the best.
The most kills, yeah. What's
The
this
girls
criteria?
Most kills.
Okay. In selecting the 10 deadliest snipers in history, for the following list, a number of criteria were applied. First and foremost, each sniper's total number of confirmed kills serves as the primary indicator of their overall effectiveness on the battlefield. For the duration of this article, confirmed kills refers to a kill that was reported in after-action reports or witnessed by a spotter, civilian, or third party. The second criteria is the number of unconfirmed or probable kills tallied by each sniper. As it implies, unconfirmed means that the shot likely resulted in death but cannot be confirmed by the sniper or the spotter. While shortcomings to these criteria exist, the author believes that they offer the best means available for determining and ranking the top. Top is Chuck Mawhinney. Then Aldebert Waldron, Henry Norris, Chris Kyle.
We all know who Chris Kyle was.
Yeah, right. It's American Sniper, isn't it?
Right.
Right. And then Vasily Zaitsev. I can't even pronounce these names. This is some other shit. But anyways, there's some, I guess there's some girls. Yeah. And it's very interesting. Okay. Oh, that's okay. Women make the best spies. You know,
I think they do. I really think they do.
Really? Why do you think woman makes a better spy?
Because they use sex.
Oh, like that congressman. Remember that congressman that was sleeping with the girl from China, and it turns out she's a spy. Yeah, she got to him through that, didn't she? She was like, "You want a little something, something?" And then,
But even in World War II,
your laptop.
even in World War II, also in Vietnam, I forget the name of. She was on the radio all the time, Radio Free Vietnam, or she was on the channel for the North Vietnamese, Hanoi Jane. They called her Hanoi Jane, Radio Hanoi or whatever. She was a good spy. She was giving us information through her news bulletins, and later on she was vindicated. Now that was also in World War II. There were several women that did great jobs.
Oh, Patrick Gold would love to see your DD-214. There are people saying that you're a fraud and never served in Vietnam. Please show some pictures of yourself. What the fuck, man? Hold on. Look it. Let's here. You can fucking settle it. There's a picture of Red in a fucking Marine outfit. You need anything else, Patrick?
Show me one in the uniform. Show me where I'm getting issued uniforms.
Well, this one's smaller, harder to see. There's Red in uniform, getting his issues from his commander. That's Red right there in the white shirt.
I was a skinny fucker, wasn't I?
You're a real skinny fucker, man. Yeah, anybody who buys the book knows Red's not a fraud, you know. So that's 1966 right there. Okay. So now that's settled. Actually, everybody gets that in basic training.
Yeah, we all did. That was basic training.
Yeah. Okay. So, Marita Lorenz, spy who had a child with Castro. Wow. Yeah, look at that. It goes as far as having a kid with somebody. Jesus, that's dedication, isn't it? Yeah.
Tim Baroni says, kick that Patrick out of the chat.
Hey, yeah, man. Don't be, seriously, it's just kind of disrespectful.
Goodbye, Pat.
No,
Goodbye, Pat.
All right. So, Red, it's been fun.
He's a friend of that guy that I don't even want to talk about.
All right. That's fine. It's been fun, Red. But as you know, all good things come to an end. So I'll see you next time when we're on.
Yes,
you have a great day. Hey, thanks for sharing all of that too, and that's coming from all of the viewers. So have a great day.
The combination of the videotapes and Wemette's testimony resulted in the conviction of 2 men on extortion charges. One of them was Frank Schweiz, known in syndicate circles as the German, a feared mob terrorist and a suspect in a number of gangland murders.
He was described to me by other outfit individuals as the most feared hitman. And as he said to me, my reputation precedes me, son.